if you think that you make mistakes, it's because of grammar or it's because of vocabulary, then that's not the case. I'm not going to tell you to work on grammar or go and perfect your English, because it's not going to help. The more you try to perfect it, the more you're going to make mistakes. In this video, I'm going to tell you the science, the psychology behind why we make mistakes and how to avoid them. Well, before that, let me tell you one story which actually happened with me. I remember it very vividly. It was the year 1998. I was supposed to give my project presentation, final year project presentation, in front of my peers and my evaluators. Oh my God, I still remember that. I went on the stage and I froze. Oh boy, I still remember that. All the eyes were just fixated on me and they're just staring at me. I couldn't speak a single word and I bombed it actually. I was in intense grief for the next 2 months. I could not forget that humiliation. It continued. But then, today, I'm a trainer and I help students to overcome the same problem which I have faced. I know that many of you have the same problem, like while facing an interview, you choke. When you go on the public stage, you choke. While giving that pitch in front of your clients, you choke. Or while speaking, you choke. How to work on this? Well, as I said before, that when I make a video, I study a lot and there is a lot of psychology behind it. If you want to read more about choking, there is a great book, Choke, written by Sion Bylock, a great psychologist. She has written a fantastic book on choke. Oh, links I have given in the description. You can buy that book. So understand now why this happens. To understand, we have to understand how our brain functions. See, it's very simple. Our brain works in two modes, or we can say our brain has two compartments, okay? Working brain and performing brain. Performing brain is spontaneous. It's not conscious, it's unconscious. It just starts performing the task without thinking about the details. And working brain is that part of the brain where if you are learning something very, very new, at a very nascent stage it is, then working brain comes into action. Now, let us understand about language, how language works. See here, I will make mistakes while shooting this video if I'm operating from working brain. Okay, if I'm thinking about each and every aspect, each and every word of my talk, I will make mistakes. So what do is, I don't put my brain in working mode, I put my brain in performance mode when I shoot a video. And results are fabulous. Now let me explain you what exactly it happens. See here, what happens is when you're speaking in English, you already have studied a lot of grammar. You study grammar, you focus on perfection, you focus on what not to do. All those videos are there now. How not to do, how not to speak this, to be perfect. All this stuff impacts you. And while speaking, you start speaking from working mode, working brain. What happens in that brain? You just intervene in the natural process of language. Understand, language will never work in the working brain. Language will never develop in the working brain. Language will work from the performing brain. But what do? We intervene in that. We go and try to fixate it. We try to master it, be perfect in that, and try to operate language from working brain. It's not going to happen. You fumble and you botch up. This is exactly what happens. In fact, I will say you get in your own way while speaking a language. You get in your own way while speaking a language, and that must not be done. As I said before, that we are focusing on that part, that aspect of our brain which must be left alone. Language is spoken unconsciously. From that, as I said before, performing brain. But we don't do that. We intervene in that. Well, due to that, what happens? Paralysis due to analysis, and you get stuck and frozen. Okay, now what is the solution for this? Listen carefully. The solution is putting your brain into performance mode. and not into working mode. As I said before, just now what I'm doing is I'm putting my brain into my performance mode. Simple two steps are there. Only two steps are there. First is the action and second is the thoughts. Action. What is action? See, understand one thing. Action means actually going and filling the gap between practice and performance. Practice means what? Here, all of you understand. Here, performance and the working. You have to fill the gap between working and performance. Means what? Simple. You get frozen while speaking because you consciously try to speak. And this is because you don't expose yourself. You don't go and speak to people. So what is the first step? I'll tell you. Understand. The first step is first speak in front of mirrors.
Hi there.
You can do this for some days, and then the next step is you can speak to your loved ones who can understand. Then you can speak to people around you in your office, in your college, anywhere who can understand you. In this way, you can fill the gap between the working brain and the performing brain. The more you expose, the fear will reduce down and you will start speaking from performing brain than the working brain. Now, the second thought is also very important. As I said before, first is behavior, second is thoughts. The way you look at nervousness is equally important. When you froze, when you get blank, it is due to nervousness. And you have to understand that nervousness is very important. Nervousness will help you to get better. Nervousness will help you to give your 100%. When you look at nervousness from this perspective, you will realize that your nervousness will come down. But if you look at nervousness as something which should be avoided, something which is scary, something which will throw you out of your control, then the problem will begin. Accept nervousness as good, accept nervousness as positive, accept nervousness which will help you to give your best. Two tips are there. I repeat again, your behavior, that is your action, your exposure is very important. And second, the way, it is also called as the attribution aspect, or it's also called as the alternatives. If you can change the way you look at nervousness, everything will change. And see, you will be able to speak without making much mistakes. Mistakes initially will happen, but afterwards mistakes will come down. Hope all of you got this idea, and you will work on this. My best wishes for this. So don't choke, but thrive under pressure. I repeat again, don't choke, but thrive under pressure. Pressure is good, nervousness is good. It will help you to perform better. Thank you.